The College Football Experience Week 6 reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast. They are giving away an autographed DeAndre Swift jersey and a merch store gift card. Get all the details by following them on Twitter at SGPN Fantasy. We're also brought to you by the MLB Gambling Podcast. They're giving away an MLB jersey as part of their playoff contest exclusively in the SGPN app. So grab that thing today and let it ride.
Hey, everybody. Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo-wee! Welcome to the College Football Experience Week 6 reaction show. Oh, man. My name is Kobe Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Oh, yes, it's a wild day. Lock-wise, I think it's my worst weekend of the year lock-wise. But we'll talk about it all. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be. Yeah, buddy. Yes. It was a great day of football, but we got a lot to talk about. Patty C, your Dukes are undefeated. I know people are talking about it in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Patty C, how do you feel about that? I know we're just going off the whim here, but how do you feel about that?
I mean, the Dukes stay undefeated. Got a little sweat from Arkansas State, but ended up doubling the point spread there. 22-point win on, I believe it was an 11-point spread or thereabouts. So a nice performance. I believe we're 5-0 against the spread now. Overachieving. I don't know if we're overachieving. We're outperforming expectations, but maybe within the program, expectations are a little higher. Yeah. Easy was saying your mic's not working, Patty C, and that's why I had to turn that shit up. Turn it up, buddy. Turn it up. Can you hear me now?
Pump up the volume, Christian Slater style. All right. Yeah, I think we hear you now.
We're good now. Okay.
I mean, JMU continues to roll, man. I know it's Arkansas State, but wow, they never were really down.
I mean, we got pushed a little bit. You know, they brought it within 8.
Still, it's the whole season. You haven't really been down.
It's true.
Just the App State first half, right?
Been pretty sharp. I don't know if we were down right at the beginning of this game. I think we may have been down for a short period of time and then quickly took the lead back. I'm not even sure if I'm right about that. But either way, yeah, you got to be and you know what I'm really most impressed with? Well, obviously the offense did its job, but the pass rush. We were getting pressure almost every single play. Even when they made a couple big plays, they got us like in basically zero coverage a couple times where they just throw it down the middle of the field and they have a big tight end that they hit a couple times. But other than that, from a coaching standpoint, I thought we were a step ahead of them. So
I agree. You looked really good. We watched that whole game. Shout out to the chat though. We're gonna go game by game and talk about all the action. And yeah, feel free to hop in and ask any questions. Let's start off, Patty C. And by the way, right now, just to timestamp this thing, Oregon holds a 49-22 lead over Arizona. I'm a fucking idiot for betting on Arizona because their rush defense is absolutely awful. I think Oregon might have 1,000 yards rushing in that game. Fresno and Boise tied 20-20. That's a huge game, critical game in the Mountain West Conference. And I got some sweating to do because San Diego State up 3-0 at half. Brady Hoke's going to get fired. If they lose this game, he's going to get fired.
Against Hawaii, which we were looking at the stats on that. What were they like? Basically close to dead last in almost every defense.
Yes, they are horrible. I mean, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But then you have Oregon State trailing Stanford 10-7. Oregon State without Chance Nolan, their starting quarterback. But I still have a lot of money tied up on the Aztecs, Stanford, and I don't think there's any way I'm going to backdoor this Arizona game.
Oh, yeah.
No, I got it actually -4 because the quarterback was out.
And it's 10-7 now?
They're down 10-7.
Okay, so push is still in play very much.
Yeah. I mean, it's still the second quarter, so we have a lot of action there. Let's start with it. The first game on the slate, Patty C. Louisville 34, Virginia 17.
Let's get right to it.
Yeah, I mean,
you were right. I was wrong. Tony Elliott, terrible hire. It's looking more and more like that every week. There's just no answers. I don't think that he is toxic in any way. I just don't think he has the answers. And I think, look, Brennan Armstrong, I was not a huge fan. Obviously, I think Robert and I made him look better than he probably really is.
Well, I think Tony Elliott hurts.
I think Tony Elliott I think he's probably somewhere between.
This is like watching Kozar with Bud Carson.
Just a waste of a waste of a
no one's
gem.
Gonna know that reference.
Yeah, I don't think I even know a Bud Carson reference. Let's go back.
Anyway, I mean, Louisville Satterfield, that seat's piping hot. He stays alive.
Yeah,
stays alive. You know, what are they now? They're what, 1, 2, 3, 3 and 3.
Yeah, I want to say it was like
that sweat's gonna be legit.
What's their what's
6.
the number? 6. Yeah,
that's sweat.
When is Malik Cunningham coming back? Do we know?
I think next week. I think he has concussion protocol, but you never know these days. NFL's redoing their rule book, Patty C.
Apparently.
What a fucking
Tua
PR.
will never be allowed
they followed every step, apparently. They followed every step.
But we have to rewrite.
But they got to rewrite the
because he got hit hard.
Yeah. Because they play a contact sport.
Yeah.
Isn't that
it is weird.
Isn't that fucking ridiculous?
Hey, I wonder if Roger Goodell's ever watched a boxing match.
Chances are no. Chances are no. I'm
not.
betting no there. Virginia's the worst team in the Coastal? Virginia or Virginia Tech? Who's worse, Patty C?
Virginia. I think. They're both pretty bad.
That game's going to be hilarious this year.
What was Israel Abanikanda? That's a great name, by the way.
He rushed for
320.
He
and
6 touchdowns. I was doing okay in DFS until I realized the guy ahead of me had that guy, and I said, "Okay, I'm not even going to look at my fucking score the rest of the night."
He won it by himself.
Arkansas 17, Mississippi State 40.
Arkansas 17, Mississippi State 40. Mississippi State impressive. Arkansas pushed them a little bit, but Mississippi State turned it on when they needed to. Look, Leach is. I feel like he's ahead of schedule even still. Usually it's year 3 or 4 that it clicks for him. Looks like it's clicking in year 3.
I mean, on deck for Mississippi State is at Kentucky next week, followed by at Bama. Brutal back-to-back away.
That is, but I do feel like they're the better team to Kentucky right now by a considerable amount.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think they're going to beat Kentucky,
and I think Bama is vulnerable.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But Hail State. Let's go. Next up, we got.
I'm curious. Is State running the ball still a lot? I'm gonna dive down into
today.
Stats.
Today they did this. They rushed for 100 yards. Dylan Johnson 17 for 100.
Okay, so they had a 100-yard rusher.
Dylan, you son of a bitch. He's getting it done.
Will Rogers, though, still good for 48 attempts and 395 yards. If you're throwing 48 passes and you're not throwing a pick,
if you were to do the power rankings on the SEC, and I know we got to talk about a lot of games here, but actually we should save that to the end. Let's save that to the fucking end. Buffalo 38, Bowling Green 7. Did you see this fake field goal by Bowling Green? If you have not seen this fake field goal, folks, I highly recommend you check out at TCE on SGPN on Twitter, or just Google, Bowling Green fake field goal, or the search engine and on Twitter, and I think you'll enjoy a nice chuckle. Buffalo, what the hell's happened to Maurice Lindquist? All of a sudden,
it's that JMU background. It's
all
the
of a sudden
is built in.
Oh, that's right. He has JMU ties, right?
That's right.
At first, I thought after watching them, like after they lost to Holy Cross, I was like, "You can't win." But now you can really see, Patty C, that
It's easy to see a tide turn.
They won 3 in a row.
Or maybe we're just underestimating Holy Cross as a country here, because
Can we talk about the Crusaders? They need
do
to
it.
jump up to the FBS. Okay, first off, 2 FBS wins in a row. They're 5-0, actually 6-0 now. They won 57-0 today against Bucknell. All right?
Yeah.
To give you folks out there an idea, Bucknell gave Temple a game a little bit.
Holy Cross is bringing Northeast football back.
Wait, no,
by
that
themselves.
wasn't Bucknell. It was Lafayette that gave Temple a game. But actually, Bucknell
And that's
sucks.
not
They
even-
lost by 41 to Central Michigan. But still, Holy Cross won 57-0.
There you go. Holy Cross can win.
Jump
win
up to
MAC.
the FBS. Let's go, baby. Matthew Saluka, that guy's a fucking beast. Counted for 4 touchdowns. But Buffalo, they're contenders now. What do they say in Major League? We're contenders. That fucking American Express commercial. I don't know. I'm fucking it up. Next up, Michigan 31, Indiana 10. The Hoosiers covered for us. Who? That was close though, because they almost blew that shit. That was a closer game than the score.
Oh,
the
yeah.
score tells.
That game was pretty close throughout. In fact, what was it? It felt like it was 10-10 or 17-10. Michigan, pulled away by a touchdown for most of the game, and then late they just, dial up the scores. But yeah, Michigan's counterfeit. Michigan is counterfeit, and against a good team, they're going to lose. They're going to lose by Ohio State by 2 touchdowns, I would say.
I mean, that's the thing that's really jumping out. I think, I say this every week, but no one's that good this year. Even like Bama, Georgia, Ohio State.
Dude, Bama is very sus.
I feel like I know Georgia's covered today, but I'm saying, Patty C, Missouri, you hit on this one, buddy. So I'll do this music for you. Missouri covered the line against Florida. Hey, if Missouri's shit-ass quarterback could actually complete a pass, they would have won this game.
5-0.
If they just ran the ball all game, I watched this game. We watched this game. I kind of think Missouri was the better team, but they just lost.
Kind of like the same deal with Auburn, right? They threw the ball out of the end zone.
Missouri had 307 total yards. Florida had 297. Anthony Richardson threw for 66 yards, a touchdown and a pick. The difference in the game was an interception, 2 of them by Brady Cook, but one of them was a pick 6. They also had a big punt return in the first quarter. I don't know how good. I actually think, you want to talk about the most fraudulent teams?
Yeah, isn't Florida 5-1 right now?
No, I think they're 1, 2, 3. They're 4-2.
4-2. Okay.
Their losses are to Tennessee, respectively, a 5-point loss, and then a 10-point loss to Kentucky. But they just don't pass the fucking eye test, man. I don't know. Comparing them they remind me of like NC State. NC State doesn't pass the eye test, right? What do you make of it? Drinkowitz now sitting there at 2-4.
The win against Utah not looking as impressive today after what UCLA did there.
Utah loses. I ate shit on that one. Oink Oink in the chat saying hit the like button. Come on, people. Let's have a like party. All right, let's go. But what do you make of Missouri? 2-4, Patty C. 2-4. They do have Vanderbilt on deck. Is that going to be a dub for Mizzou?
Yes.
So they're going to be able to exhale a little
gave
bit.
Ole Miss some trouble though today.
They did in the first half,
which makes me think Ole Miss is counterfeit. They're undefeated. Right now.
Their schedule is pathetic. Like their schedule. We'll learn about Ole Miss. I think their season starts after today.
Yeah,
because
the preseason's over now.
Yeah, the preseason is
Real
over.
Season starts.
But I do think Vandy is better than
3-3 right now.
Who?
Vandy.
Vandy looked all right today. They showed some fight. I was impressed.
Not bad.
What else do we got? But no, so Mizzou is sitting there. You think Drinkwitz makes it through the season? They're 2-4. They have Vanderbilt on deck. Then they're at South Carolina. Then they're home to Kentucky. Then they're at Tennessee. Then they get their rival New Mexico State on the 19th, and then they're home to Arkansas.
Almost every one of those games, I would say, with the exception of the road trip to Tennessee, is winnable for them. But I feel like they're going to lose.
I don't think they're going to be bowling this year.
Yeah, and does that?
Let's
cost
say
them a
if they beat Vandy, that'll be 3 wins, right?
Yeah.
At South Carolina, home to Kentucky. Let's even say they split.
Yeah.
That's 4. At Tennessee, no.
Yeah.
Home to New Mexico State.
5.
And then home to Arkansas.
Hosting Arkansas to get into a bowl, probably to save his
Probably
job.
not, though, right?
I mean,
I think Arkansas is better than them.
Yeah, and with Will Levis back, even hosting Kentucky is going to be tough. So,
I don't know.
I don't think they're bowling, to answer your question.
Yes. Next up, we have TCU 38, Kansas 31.
Ouch.
This game was awesome.
It was an awesome game. Back and forth.
I have a feeling there is a chance that my call for Kansas to go bowling could be in a bit of jeopardy.
Oh, no way.
Jalon Daniels, I think, might be out for a while.
Did we get
maybe
an
the
update
season
on that?
I don't know. Did anyone see that in the chat? I didn't see any news on that front, but that they did cover for me, by the way. They did cover because I ended up getting 7.5 right before the kickoff. Now I know I bet it earlier in the week, so I ended up pushing on this. But I bet +7 earlier in the week. Right before kickoff, I got a +7.5 in there. So I still made some money, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. Shout out to Noah Beanick. Shout out to Lane. Shout out to the whole chat. TCU, Petty C, are they legit?
How legit are we talking?
Like
Big
MC
12?
Hammer.
Too legit?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're too legit to quit, but I think that they are definitely Big 12 contenders in the playoff. That obviously get smacked around, I think. But who knows? I mean, Duggan is enough of a playmaker that in a year where no one's pulling away, even in a playoff setting, they might be a live dog.
Eastern Michigan beat the shit out of Western Michigan. Boom! Chris Creighton. Let's go, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. I was on that money line. Let's ride. Let's ride.
You hear this out there, people? Colby is putting Chris Creighton and has been putting Chris Creighton and Lance Leipold on the same, diamond in the rough setting for the last 5-6 years. So when is Creighton going to get his shot? Because clearly it's working out.
Colorado, maybe you give him a phone call instead of fucking Carl Durrell or whoever you're thinking about. All right, Chris Creighton, mention it. Just an idea. Why don't you call 1-800-PICK-DUNDEE? I'll help you out on the
coaching search.
Yeah. Patty C, I also called for this one. Purdue beats Maryland. 3.5-point dogs.
Talk about a tough ending. How'd they get in that predicament in the first place?
Well, Maryland took the lead to go up 29-23. The extra point got blocked, but it appeared he was offsides, I thought. And then Purdue answered, kicked the extra point, and got a lead, right? Is that correct?
No, it was
how the fuck did that game end again?
I feel like Maryland had to go for 2 at the end of that game. And
I'm saying and then Purdue got a field goal, right? Or am I crazy?
I'm drawing a blank.
No, Purdue scored again at the 1 yard line.
It was 31-29.
Yeah.
And Maryland had to go and they couldn't convert on it. But
no, the final score, it was 31-29.
Yeah.
Really? I don't remember. Either way, Purdue, we watched a shit ton of football today. But Purdue, Patty C, is Purdue the best 2-loss team in America?
Probably not, but they're pretty good.
You think Texas is better than Purdue, huh?
Who are Purdue's losses to? I would say
they've lost at the last second to Syracuse in the Carrier Dome and at the last second to Penn State.
That's true. Solid.
Those teams are undefeated, Petty C.
Both teams undefeated. maybe Purdue is a sleeper. You postulate that they and Minnesota would be the teams from the SEC West that would give
Big Ten West, but
Big Ten West the most trouble to Ohio State in the
for sure
Big Ten championship.
Because they play at that filthy roller rink in Indianapolis, where you have to have a speed team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Big Ten of all fucking conferences says no, we're not gonna do our DNA.
Yeah.
And we're gonna say no, we're gonna play this fucking roller rink arena football game. And you know who's good at that? Is Purdue. Because Purdue has all these little fleas at wide receiver that can catch the ball and run fast as shit.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And Payne Durham, who's a monster of a tight end.
He is. Dude, that was the most hilarious play ever. I've never seen someone break tackles for 35 straight yards, but I think we looked at it. It was roughly 35 yards. He was carrying defenders on his back.
It's like a fucking comic book movie.
Right.
Shout out to Purdue. Is Maryland legit, Patty C?
Again, how legit, but are they bowling? I think they're a bowl caliber team. They haven't played Penn State, Michigan, or Ohio State though yet, right? So some L's are coming. No, they played Michigan and kept it.
Yeah,
close.
they kept it close against Michigan.
Okay,
yeah. Next up, we have Tennessee 40, LSU 13. Holy shit. LSU sucks, but nice win by Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, LSU, they just botched a lot of shit today, but Tennessee, Hendon Hooker threw a couple balls that were just filthy.
Yeah.
The Tennessee offense is nasty.
He throws a
great win in Baton Rouge. And those Tennessee fans, what the fuck? That's Baton Rouge? Let me tell you, when I went to Baton Rouge, I didn't see a fan base, a road team travel at all, really. I mean, maybe a little bit in like the parking lots.
Yeah.
But man, Tennessee fans
showed
shelled out in Baton Rouge.
Well,
tickets are cheap with the Brian Kelly's family.
But
the
family's not showing up to the games. Yeah, and Tennessee, I think they feel the reality of the situation. And look, I don't know if I want to hint this right now or what, but I'm just gonna say it. Why wait? Tennessee is gonna upset Bama next week.
Oh, there we go. You hearing that, folks?
Day.
Patty C.
College game day.
Calling for it.
Almost assuredly will be in town. Rocky Top will be rocking. And look, Alabama suspect, and I think Tennessee a little bit legit. I think that offense is going to go, and I don't know that Bama's going to have the answer. Obviously, we expect Bryce Young to be back. Probably going to be a shootout.
Yeah,
but I think
let's go Vols. Let's go Vols.
Fans will be the difference there.
Brandon Davis in the chat says, I had the worst week of my life gambling. Absolute horrible weekend for me. Well, look, we picked every game, so I had to go to record, but I will say my locks, it was my worst week of the season. But I have a chance to climb out of it, but it doesn't look like it because Stanford just scored a touchdown. Patty C, it's 17-7. What the fuck?
I think that'll drop me below 500 as well.
But what do you the Vols? What do you make of Brian Kelly though? You want to talk about it? Can we look at this? I know their schedule was dog shit coming into it. That loss to Florida State looks worse. The win against Mississippi State looks better, but the other games they played were Southern and New Mexico. They did beat Auburn, although they were outgained by like 200 yards. They lose to Tennessee. They're in the swamp next week. That's a strange game.
It's a shit fest.
Because there's two great football pedigrees.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I look at those teams and I go,
zero good football teams.
They're not very good.
Yeah.
They're not very good. Like those teams, honestly, I would probably favor I don't know. Coastal. No, I don't know. Coastal plays a lot of close games, but I'm not very impressed with LSU or Florida.
No, but I'll say this. Against a shitty defense, Anthony Richardson can shine.
If Purdue plays LSU or Florida, who are you taking?
I'm taking Purdue against.
I'm taking Purdue. Yeah. I think Purdue is better than them.
Yeah.
Next up, we got. But Brian Kelly, should we panic about this? I'm sorry. I was in the middle of making that point.
I mean, so their losses, they only have 2 losses at this point.
But I'm saying if they lose at the Swamp next week, then they're home to Ole Miss.
I don't think they're in panic mode now. I mean, what are the
they could lose the rest of the games this season.
It's true. UAB's a pretty damn good team. Road trip to Arkansas. I mean, they almost should be the dog in every remaining game in the season. But I still think this team's at least getting bowling, probably like 7.
I hope so, because I got a ticket for them on the over.
What's the number?
6.5.
Yeah, that they should hit that.
The sweat
The sweat is real at this point.
Patty C, Texas 49, Oklahoma 0.
Woo!
Woo!
I mean, don't get me wrong.
We wanted 50. We were chanting
Yeah.
50 in the studio.
Generally speaking, I'm rooting for Oklahoma every time. But if they're going to take the L, I'm glad they
True.
did it.
We want the
Ass
rivalry. We
Yeah.
want the hatred at its all-time high. So, like,
whatever's going to make
when we saw it was 49-0, first off, we thought maybe they'll go for 2. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Then they missed a field goal. We were hoping for a 52 or
the guy
a 59.
with the afro, the ultimate kicker.
Yeah.
You know, afro hanging out the back of his helmet, misses to put him over 50, but still 49-0. Pretty damn impressive.
Patty C, Oklahoma's 0-3 in the Big 12.
Is that a first? That's got to be some kind of.
And I'll tell you this, it's a shame Jalon Daniels is probably going to be out for a while because I do think Kansas would win next week. I don't know now.
Although
I don't know
Jason Bean played pretty damn good football.
But their offense is different. They can't run like they like Daniels
can break play by himself. That's true.
And I think their offense is less explosive.
I agree 100%. Daniels is a much more explosive player. But that said, Bean is probably a better player than a lot of the other quarterbacks in the
I
Big
still
12.
think it's going to be a game. But let's say the Sooners can survive that. Then they're in Ames. Another heartbreak loss for Matt Campbell. We'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at this schedule, I don't see a lot of for sure wins.
Yeah, unless Oklahoma is better than they've
they
shown
might
that
not
they
go
are.
bowling, man. If they need to beat Kansas next week.
All right, we're assuming Oklahoma is just in a rut and they're going to turn it around and beat Oklahoma. But if we're actually looking at the quality of the football team that they are for the next 6 weeks of the season, what game?
Their best win is fucking Kent State, man.
Yeah. What game are they favored in?
They'll be favored against Kansas probably because of the injury, right?
Maybe, but is that foolish? I mean, keeping it close against Kansas State is looking more impressive by Oklahoma, but getting throttled.
It
by
wasn't even
TCU.
keeping it close. It was a 2-score game. They scored late to make it a 1-score game.
I don't even know that they're going to beat Kansas. I think it being in Norman is huge. But I would say maybe I favor them.
I'm saying, can they get the 6-6 and get a bowl for Venables? Because I can tell you this, I'm not taking them in Ames.
I don't think they're getting a 6-6. I think there's a 5.
And then when Baylor comes to town, I think Baylor's going to fuck them up. Then they're in Morgantown. Maybe they could get West Virginia there.
Yeah.
That's a tough place to win, though. And then they're home to Oklahoma State. I'm taking Oklahoma State. Then they're in Lubbock. It's the last time they're ever going to Lubbock. I am not taking.
They might go.
I am not taking Oklahoma and Lubbock.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
more likely 2-4. No bowling for Venables year 1.
Don't worry. Next year they have no Power 5s on their out of conference.
There
schedule.
you go. That's how you fix it.
That's how you fix it, folks. It's that's the problem.
Don't
with college
actually
football.
get better. Just schedule.
It's the problem
worse.
with college football. Don't you find it ironic? Michigan and UCLA are undefeated. Oh, they had a 3-week preseason where they played absolutely nobody.
And they play every game at home. How about Ohio State playing their
first road game on October what is today? The 8th?
October 8th. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. It's week 6 and Ohio State's playing their first fucking road game. Folks, it's halfway through the season right now.
Yeah.
How can you not argue for a larger playoff?
The regular season is the playoff, Colby. Only one team plays at home every week.
Yeah, only Iowa State plays 8 road games every year.
Yeah.
All right. And look, they lost. They're not as good. Right. They're not as good as Ohio State that plays 4 road games. All right. Or Notre Dame with all these fucking neutral site games all around the country. Just nonsense. But Patty C, let me read an ad, and then we'll talk more action as we continue to roll on here on the Reaction Show. We got a lot to talk about. What I want to tell you, the college football experience is brought to you by WynnBet. Bet $100 at WynnBet and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by Fubo TV. If you watch football, you need Fubo TV. Fubo TV gives you complete coverage of college and pro football with NFL Red Zone, plus games in 4K at no extra charge. There's over 100 channels of live sports and entertainment for a fraction of the price of cable. You can watch it on any of your devices. Never miss a game. Never miss an episode of your favorite show because they give you included cloud-based DVR. Plus, there's no contract. There's no commitment. You can cancel at any time. Right now, you can try Fubo TV for free for 7 days and get 15% off your first month. Just go to FuboTV.com/SGP. That's FUBOTV.com/SGP. All right, Patty C. Next up, Akron. 30. Actually, no, we didn't talk enough about Texas. Patty C. One wonders if Quinn Ewers
was playing for the entire Texas game.
Yes.
What might have happened?
Or the Texas Tech game.
Yeah, I feel like they'd be undefeated. I think it's safe.
Well,
to
they
say-
should have won even without that because that was a fucking safety when Bryce Young was in the end zone.
I agree.
I mean,
I think people weren't ready to ourselves included, weren't ready to recognize Texas as the good team that they are at this point.
I still think the under could hit though. I mean, I didn't lock it this year,
It
but
was 8.5, right?
yeah, they already have 2 losses though.
Vegas had high expectations.
They're in Stillwater in 2 weeks. Well, first off, they get Iowa State next week, and Matt Campbell's had Texas's number. They should beat Iowa State in Austin, but they still have to go to Stillwater, to Manhattan, Kansas, take on TCU. They got to go to Lawrence, Kansas, and then they got to take on Baylor. The Big 12 is the best fucking conference. Fight me. Fight me. Look, SEC might have Georgia and Alabama that might be better. I don't know. Bama should have lost to Texas, in my opinion. I thought the refs did a fucking terrible job that game.
Yeah.
I think the Big 12 is the best conference in football this year.
Let me ask you this. I agree with you top to bottom, no doubt about it.
They don't have any. They don't have a Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
They don't have
if you could take like the average team rating of like what on a 1 to 100 scale, they're all like in the 80 to 90 range, or 75 to 90 range.
Dude, what's the lowest
There's
rating?
no-
West Virginia, and what would that be? 60s?
Yeah. Like if we're talking about like ranking them 1 to 130,
Yeah.
I would put West Virginia middle of the pack.
Yeah. I
Maybe-
think they'd be in
maybe
the
better than
60s.
middle
But
of the
I'm
pack.
saying everyone else, Texas Tech probably in the 50s,
West
right?
Virginia 2-3 with their losses against Pitt by 7, which is looking a little worse.
Well, Pitt won today.
Texas and Kansas,
Yeah.
those are pretty decent losses.
They could still be a bowl team. But I'm just I mean that conference is fucking a gauntlet. I guess Oklahoma's the worst team. Where would you rank Oklahoma? What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Oklahoma's like in the 70s.
Yeah. At this point, I think you're right.
They're the Vanderbilt plays Oklahoma. Who you taking?
I'm taking Oklahoma.
I was trying to trick you. Man.
Throwing
I
a
was
little
trying to start an
shade at
argument there.
Oklahoma
Trying to
here.
start an argument there. Akron 34, Ohio 55. My Akron over 2.5 wins. Ooh, sweat. The sweat. Let me look at this schedule real quick. It's not gonna happen. Sorry, folks. I gave you 11. I think I gave you 11.
What was the number there?
2.5. They have one game, Patty C.
St. Francis in overtime.
Yes, and we have
Well, Central Michigan could be a dub,
that could be a dub. They only have 1 win. It's in Akron.
and Northern Illinois could be a win.
I just think those teams are way better when I watch them.
Northern Illinois.
You never know in the Wacky Mac.
is sitting here at 1-5 with 5 straight losses.
You never know in the Wacky Mac.
That's true.
Patty C. Georgia Southern 33, Georgia State 41. Wow. JMU's at Georgia Southern next week. That's a big game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the Sun Belt is beating each other up, much like the Big 12. And Georgia State, who looked awful out the gate, has fixed a few things. They've won 2 in a row. They do this every year.
High expectations, veteran roster, and then shit the bed out the gates, and then figure it out.
Patty C. Cincinnati 24, 28, South Florida 24. What the fuck was that?
Sus. Although
South Florida had the lead in the 4th quarter, folks. If you did not catch this game, the Bulls of South Florida had the lead in the 4th quarter. Starting to worry about the Bearcats.
Well, Cincinnati is, I think maybe was asleep at the wheel for that game. They did slap Indiana pretty well. I mean, they haven't really. That was the closest game that they played that they, aside from Arkansas, obviously. So that may be a hiccup. You would think on homecoming, but now they got a bye week and then at SMU, at UCF.
Yeah.
Navy. You're right. The back end of the schedule could be a little tough.
Watch out. Watch out. Tim Evans in the chat says, Colby, is San Jose State cracking your database top 25 this week? Cordero not looking too bad, and damn, UNLV are frauds. Thought I called that on the show when we did our pick show on Wednesday. I said, you know what, UNLV, it's been a nice story. They're going to go bowling, I think, for the first time since fucking Keenan McCardle was playing for them. But I knew that they were kind of frauds. I watched that New Mexico game, and I said, you know what, they're frauds. San Jose State, Patty C. They might just make it because watch out.
Well,
Brent Brennan.
Brent Brennan, like, should he be on some lists for?
Some people are
coaching?
saying Colorado should call him.
I mean, It can't be any
I
worse.
just have the list like he's further down the list. I like him.
He's a
But
California guy.
fucking Bronco Mendenhall's there. I mean, there's a lot out there that I would like to call. Ryan Walters.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
But
There's
either
a lot.
way,
Yeah.
I mean, look, San Jose State, if you take away, what was it, last year that they had the hiccup?
Yeah.
They've been getting better every year, and they look super legit right now. They're not counterfeit. So this is surprising that, he's just continuing to build an excellent program. That someone's got to take notice of that. You know?
Yeah. Liberty 42, UMass 24. Minutemen get the cover though, baby. And that's all that matters. All right. Liberty.
What's Liberty's record now?
They're one loss by 1 point because they went for 2 at Wake Forest. And that that loss is looking a lot better. That's why I rank them in the database top 25.
So let me
Hugh
just
Strip
throw
Club
this
Freeze
out.
is a legend. What?
5-1. The number was 6.5. They were my number one lock coming into the season. Remaining the upcoming weeks, Gardner Webb, BYU.
Watch out. Gardner Webb almost bit Coastal.
Okay, that's true.
Running Bulldogs.
Wait,
so if they beat Gardner Webb,
yeah, that puts them 1 win away from hitting the over with games remaining. Hosting BYU,
loss.
Road trip to Arkansas,
loss.
At UConn,
loss. They beat Fresno. They can beat Liberty.
Okay. Hosting Virginia Tech,
loss.
Win. That's the most sure win on the schedule. No, then they host New Mexico State. The over is cashing.
It is. I think you're there. But just I wouldn't go celebrating yet. What happens if their quarterback tears an ACL or something?
Ride it.
Did Colby watch? I didn't watch that Pitt Virginia Tech game that much, man. I can't watch Virginia Tech play football. It's really, really bad right now. But yes, Pitt's running back did look like fucking Tony Dorsett. Oh, he broke his record. Yeah. He looked like, I don't know, Byron the Wizard White today. All right.
Red Grange back here. Abanikanda. That's the coolest name in college.
Narduzzi got his offense back. All right. That he won.
That's right.
He got the keys to his offense back.
Right. Maybe he was on to something after all.
Not really, because he lost to Georgia Tech last week, which we'll talk about in a second.
You can do that against Virginia Tech, who can't find their ass from a hole in the ground, but not against an actual good team.
Oklahoma State beats Texas Tech. Patty C. I have a feeling Texas Tech would have won this game had Donovan Smith got knocked out. They were up in the third.
Remind me about Texas Tech.
They lost by 10, but when was it Donovan Smith? Who was it? I feel like the backup came in this game. Am I just a fucking idiot right now?
Darren Morton. Wait,
did he get the start?
379.
I could have swore I saw the backup come in this game. We had this on the screen. We've been drinking all day, but he lit it up. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm full of shit right here. I think I might be. Anyway, shout out to Oklahoma State as they get the dub.
Yeah, Spencer Sanders had all the attempts on the day. So, Oklahoma State. What 22 of 45 passing?
Gundy, dude, that dude's a fucking legend. How does he keep doing this? I thought they were going to take a step back this year, and then maybe next year they'll be back. I mean, I didn't lock it, I don't think, but I mean, I'm pretty impressed with Oklahoma State so far.
5-0. I'm more impressed with what Texas Tech has been doing. You were sold on Joey McGuire as a good hire. Obviously, Kitley's a nice.
Tyler Shuck. They've had quarterback. I mean,
turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Texas Tech pretty good. The fact that Oklahoma State beat them, Texas Tech did beat Texas. Big 12, But Oklahoma State, are they the best team in the Big 12?
They play TCU next week.
Maybe college game.
That game's huge.
A big noon kickoff will probably be at that one.
At TCU, it's in Fort Worth. That's a game.
That is a game.
That's a game. Shout out to the Cowboys. Yeah, I was wrong there. They took care of business. I could have swore late in this third quarter, Oklahoma or Texas Tech was winning this game. I think I was right.
This game was like kind of not really. It was on one of the side TVs. Paying very little attention to it, other than like the occasional play here and there. But Texas Tech was in the game most of the time, so kept it interesting.
Patty C, East Carolina 9, Tulane 24. Fuck Mike Houston.
Not a great
Guess what happened today, Patty C?
What happened?
This shithole kicker that East Carolina continues to roster, continues to put in a uniform with purple and gold. He missed an extra point again.
That's in how many games out of 6?
I feel like 5 of 6 games
5 of 6.
we've missed a fucking extra point.
Yeah.
Hey, we also had a kick blocked. It wasn't the kicker's fault, but it might be Mike Houston's special teams is the worst in America. Scott Frost, I thought his special teams was bad last year. I'm going to raise you one higher. Mike fucking Houston this year.
There it is. Well, talk about being under the spotlight for your special teams. Colby's favorite team is certainly going to have that situation going on. And the fact that Houston's kicking game is garbage right now.
What did Jim Morris say in that press conference in the 80s? I saw fans puking in the stands watching our kicking game. All right.
What's ECU's upcoming schedule?
They suck.
Well, let's
I don't want to watch this fucking team.
Let's give it credit.
Can't even make a fucking extra point. There's some shit ankle biters. We could do that, right?
That's right.
When we were fucking 10 years old playing football, could we make an extra point? I feel like at a higher rate than this guy. I think so.
If we spent 1 week practicing, we would make 80% of our extra points. Look, Michael Pratt has flowing golden locks. I saw someone mentioning it in the chat before. You weren't ready for the golden locks and his handsomeness, so you took the L.
I mean, if it was to anybody, I'm glad it was Tulane because
Willie Fritz.
Yeah.
Let me see. They had, I believe, the number 1 passing defense in the country coming into the game. How did old Holton ugly delivery Ehlers?
Well, he threw an interception in the end zone like a prick bastard. He threw multiple interceptions. They did have, but they still had. I think he still put up decent
288
numbers.
yards, 51 attempts though. Hey, maybe
32 of 51. It was maybe just the interceptions because that one in the end zone, he actually had the guy open, but he threw it late as shit, and that was the game-changing moment.
60% completion percentage. I guess it's respectable.
I can't watch this team. They can't kick. Patty C, what's up next? We got Virginia Tech 29, Pittsburgh 45. Patty C, if Colorado played Virginia Tech, who would win?
I guess I'm going to lean Virginia Tech, but I don't know. They're both terribly.
Let's talk worst Power 5 programs.
Ooh, all right.
Virginia Tech, Colorado. I think Boston College is in that mix.
They did get slapped around today.
Stanford, Vandy, Northwestern.
Stanford's not in that mix. Stanford.
Who's the worst Power 5 program?
I think maybe Northwestern after getting run roughshod. I mean, if you can make Graham Mertz look good, you probably suck pretty bad. So it might be Northwestern.
Oh, man. What do you make of the Hokies? Are they going to go bowling?
No. The Hokies suck. Sorry. Look, this is another feel-good story. If you want the real deal, don't try and get a Beamer knockoff, right? Go get the actual fucking Beamer who's out there winning football games. Colby doesn't like to admit it, right? But Beamer magic exists.
It is real magic because I swear.
It always feels like bullshit.
I swear.
Right?
No, I mean, Will Levis, they say might be the first pick of the draft. Pretty big character to miss the game, right?
I say Beamer magic had a lot to do with it.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
He's got a cauldron. He's making spells.
I put some fucking something in his soup he had last week.
Yeah, that's right. Magic.
Patty C. Pitt bounces back from that loss to Georgia Tech. I think the only problem here is Georgia Tech does have the tiebreaker, but
the ACC sucks. I get so sick and tired of this conference year in, year out.
It's the worst Power 5 conference.
It's
by far the worst Power 5 conference. I don't even think it's close.
This is a classic example, people. Watch this like throughout the year. Every time we said Clemson has had a cakewalk to get to the playoff, maybe they show up in the playoff and play pretty well, and maybe they win the national championship. It seems like they're headed to the fucking playoff, doesn't it?
I mean, who's going to test them in the ACC?
Nobody.
Dude, the ACC, because of their conference playing each other, teams will make the bowl game. But after, honestly, besides Wake Forest and Clemson, I'm of the opinion that no one is good. I mean, Syracuse, we'll see.
Yeah. Syracuse,
jury's out. They've only had one away game, and that was at Rensselaer.
Yeah.
So it's a little unproven right now.
Well, if you go to the Wrench and win, then.
But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think NC State's good. I don't think Florida State's good. I don't know that Duke's that good. North Carolina, Duke and North Carolina look decent.
Not one of those teams is even in the top probably 35 teams in the country, I would say. You could argue maybe NC State is fringe.
No, Carolina. I think UNC is better than NC State.
But all of them are, the seriously flawed teams.
Yeah. Ball State 17, Central Michigan 16. Patty C with Ball State. That was a lock. Your boys.
On principle. Look, even though they weren't in Muncie, Indiana, they brought the Muncie fucking flavor with them, and they got it done.
Oh man! Shout out to WV Punch Drunk. Says I wish you were watching the San Diego State game. I thought you were saying calling them. We used to call games. Man, I miss those days. Ball State 17, Central Michigan 16. The dream is still alive for the Cardinal. NC Nick's gonna eat shit on that under. Patty C. I know JMU looked great against Middle Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee beat Miami. Middle Tennessee lost by 27 at UAB today. That's what I mean about this college football season. Appalachian State beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M, I get it. There was no Bryce Young, but you could also say A&M was without their starting quarterback, and I know there's a big difference between Bryce Young and Max Johnson. Yeah. I don't give a shit. That was in Tuscaloosa. We see injured quarterbacks all over the fucking college football landscape. Dylan Gabriel didn't play in the Red River rivalry today. I'm sorry, Red River Shootout. Ewers went down against Bama. So if you're going to use that excuse that we didn't have Bryce Young, well, I'll say, well, you didn't have Ewers, and Ewers was lighting you up in Austin. So
you can't use that as an excuse. Good teams have depth at quarterback.
So this is what this is a perfect example. If there was a large playoff, I mean, I think anyone could win this fucking thing.
Absolutely, and I do. We were very close to having A&M beating Bama on the road, right?
Yeah,
and then App State beating A&M on the road.
App State did beat A&M on the road.
Well, that did happen. And then JMU beating App State on the road. So really, almost JMU has.
And JMU was in the FCS last year.
Bama is kind of what
there
I'm
you go.
At here.
JMU's the best team in the country.
There is. So.
Patty C approves.
Yes.
But still, Middle Tennessee got their ass whooped by UAB. Patty C, I was all over this one. Let's get this one. Yes. That's not my lock music. Maybe I've had a few cocktails. Navy 53, Tulsa 21. Glad I changed your mind on this one.
I am glad. Thank you.
I told you. Tulsa can't beat Navy. You gotta know these things with college football.
The weirdest fucking thing. Why Tulsa? Like
Air Force can't win in Wyoming.
But Philip Montgomery hasn't been there for the entire time, has he?
No, he's been there a long time.
So I mean, he specifically can't handle the triple option.
No, I think also the coach prior to him did get Navy maybe once or twice and lost too. They can't handle the midshipmen. Shout out to Ken Niamontalolo.
You know what
for
it
that
is,
win.
though?
What's that?
Tulsa is essentially like a Texas football team. It's like an hour from the Texas border or something.
Yeah.
No one in Texas can handle triple option football. Sure. You guys invented the wishbone out there.
I think Tulsa's a little further than an hour, right?
Maybe a couple hours.
Yeah. Okay.
But you have moved on, and you don't even know how to. It was your own playbook. You lost the playbook, and now you can't defend it. Ouch.
Hold on. I do have.
The evidence has been falsified. It's impossible. I never broke the law. I am the law.
You know, I read something. I was reading about the top 10 Oklahoma, Texas.
I thought you were going to say Stallone flicks.
Yeah, I was reading all about stuff. That's you. You did. Kobe did book reports on.
I did
on Rambo.
Can I tell that story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Look, so we had a teacher leave. She got pregnant, and she had to do the leave, and we got it. So we agreed for a book, and I think I was going to do some sports book. You had to do a report on it. This is like freshman year of high school or something.
Not in third grade.
Yeah, this is high school. We had to do some type of book report, and I agreed to this. I don't know what it was. It was probably like the book of fucking Walter Payton or something, right? Yeah. And then, she left, and we got the interim teacher, and she did not approve of that, right?
Yeah.
So she said it's got to be fiction. Right. And I was trying to do like a biography, and she said, no, it's got to be fiction. Yeah. So I go home to my dad's office. Right. And for some reason, they had the Rambo 3 novel. My dad did, which is hilarious because, Rambo, the original movie, First Blood, is after a David Morrell novel. Number 3, the book came after the movie.
we have to write this movie now, or we write this book
I
now.
think I love my dad forever for having Rambo 3 the novel, right? So I grab Rambo 3 the novel, and I start doing my book report on this. And
What does it say in the novel? He kills 700.
that's what's great is you have to read a segment. You have to read a segment to the class, right? And I wish I had the novel. I need to buy it somewhere out there in the universe because I'm like, Colonel Troutman pulls out his RPG and blows up a small Russian village or something. I think number 3, he's taking on.
I think they're fighting the Russians.
Yeah. And, the whole class is hearing this. And I'm like, I was like, Rambo is fighting a guy next to a helicopter. He pulls out his blade and stabs it through his eye. Right. And it was, dude, the whole class. And my buddy to this day says, dude, that's how I became friends with him after this. I didn't know him prior. He goes, I knew you were a fucking cool dude because you had Rambo. You read Rambo 3 to the class. Anyway, that's my book report. Anyway,
this is how we got through school, people.
Yeah. What'd you what were you talking about? Top 10? You read some top 10 thing.
Apparently, yada yada yada. Texas was whooping Oklahoma's ass with the wishbone, and
back in the day.
And then Darryl Royal was like, friends with whatever the old Oklahoma coach, and he taught him the triple option in the wishbone in the offseason.
Yeah.
They came like 2 years later and just started whipping their ass for the next decade.
Damn.
Running his system against him. It was just like, never tell another coach, never tell your rival.
He had too many cocktails, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Kent State 24, Miami 27. I was wrong on this. What up to Keith Landry? Miami, Ohio gets it done. Patty C. I have no idea about the MAC, just like you quoted last week, although you hit on Ball State. I love how you quoted that, and then this week you locked up.
About the MAC.
Lock up Ball State.
That's right.
Toledo beats Northern Illinois 52-32. Holy shit. Did Lombardi play in this?
That's a good question.
No, he didn't. Ethan Hampton got the start. Still Rockets. Wisconsin 42, Northwestern 7. Jim fucking Leonard. What do you think?
That's a strong audition for the.
They normally have
job.
a tough time against Northwestern in Evanston. They really do.
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah, that's true. What did you say? 6 of the last 7?
Yeah.
Northwestern and 1 in Evanston. Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, usually we're going to say it was a good year followed by a bad year followed by a good year for
Graham Mertz was 20 of 29 for 299 and 5 touchdowns.
Say that again. 20 of 29.
299 and 5 touchdowns. He hasn't thrown for 5 touchdowns ever, like in his career. I don't think.
Graham mother effing Mertz is living up to that 5-star billing. Finally,
there's Wisconsin. Can they still win the Big Ten West?
Sure. Wide open race. Wide open race. Speaking of Big Ten West, I'm sure we're going to get to this later. Let's keep rattling. But was Iowa versus Illinois not the most predictable game?
I loved it.
It was great.
It was great.
But it was exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Utah 32, UCLA 42. I lost a lot of money on this one because Utah sucks ass. They were overrated, and because it was in Pasadena. Hey, shout out to Chip Kelly for getting over the hump here. I was completely wrong on this, and they had gotten their ass whooped by Utah every game.
It's surprising. Look, it's just that UCLA is pretty damn good. DTR looks excellent, and Zach Charbonnet looks freaking incredible. How Michigan let him get away from them is unbelievable. But what do you have? 198 rushing yards.
Jake Bobo, that transfer from Duke's, looking good.
UCLA, a real contender, and still, even against the number 11 team in the country, a 1/4 filled stadium. Pathetic.
Miami was bad too, and that's the next game we have here. North Carolina 27, Miami 24. I did lock up the Tar Heels. If you follow our picks page, I did bet that. I said wrong team favored. Tar Heels got it done. It's hilarious because for this one, I actually said the wrong team's favorite. It should be Carolina by 3. Hey, Carolina won by 3.
Boom.
I'm a fucking genius.
This is the college experience. This is why you dial in, people.
Just not with Utah. Patty C, is North Carolina the best team in the Coastal?
Yeah, I think so. What do you think? Who else is in that conversation? Let me pull up the standings.
There is one buzz, sting. We are talking about the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, which we will get to briefly.
Yeah, a legit player, 2-1 in the conference right now.
Georgia Tech beat Duke 23-20.
Where is that game against North Carolina being played?
In Duke. Wait, for Tech or Duke?
For Georgia Tech.
That is a good question. I think it's in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Bring your wine and cheese. That's crazy. Georgia Tech can win the Coastal. Georgia Tech, honestly, if Duke beats Carolina next week, Georgia Tech will have the inside track of winning the Coastal. They have the tiebreaker over.
I don't even know who their coach is.
They have the tiebreaker over Pitt and Duke.
Yeah. Georgia Tech has found their man, apparently.
Oh man. No, he's Brent Key. Is that his name?
Okay.
Played there?
Okay.
I might be fucking up his name.
If I am Jeff Scott or Jeff who is their coach that just got fired?
Jeff Collins. Yeah.
I'm fucking salty at my team for losing and then showing up big time for 2 straight weeks as soon as I get fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of not that cool.
That's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Patty C. Auburn 10, Georgia 42. Georgia covered this. I had 31 points. I found a line on 31, and I go, oh, they can cover. They can cover the 31.
Yeah. I kind of lost track of this one. It was a decently close game, and then I looked back at the screen, and it was like a 3 touchdown game. I was like, shit.
Is Georgia the best team in the nation? I still think
have to say.
I still think they are.
I mean, especially with what Oregon is doing.
But like, if Georgia played Texas, what do you think that score would be?
Depends on where it's played. If Georgia goes to Texas being the team that they've been, for the 2 of the last 3 weeks, I think Texas wins that game. But, whipping Auburn's ass is a good look. So.
Yeah. We talked Ole Miss already. They beat Vandy 52-28. Is Ole Miss for real? They're top 10. Are they the most fraudulent? Them or Oklahoma State? Who's better? Ole Miss or Oklahoma State? Who are you taking if they play tomorrow?
I'm taking Oklahoma State.
I am too.
Yeah.
Washington 38, Arizona State 45. Don't write off the boys in Tempe yet. Big win. Horrible fucking uniforms for Arizona State today. What are you doing? What are you doing?
What was up with the sky? What color was that sky? It looked like
the sky even was mad at those uniforms. The sky was like, we're gonna look like shit because those uniforms are trash.
You got right on the field. You got the Sun Devil traditional mascot, right?
Yeah.
Looking cool as hell. And then you put on those puke uniforms.
But that hurts the UCLA win because Washington, once again, you don't learn anything about teams till they hit the road.
Yeah.
Which is hard to tell. It's hard to tell when they do hit the road because especially if it's a shitty opponent, like say UCLA, the one time they went to at Colorado, you learn nothing. You learn nothing. Washington goes to UCLA, to Arizona State. They lose both.
Back-to-back road. What were they coming into that? Were they 3-1?
They were undefeated coming into that.
4-0.
Yeah.
Back-to-back road, but lose both of them.
Yeah. I mean,
one against a pretty shitty team in Arizona State.
Yeah. You just don't learn anything until they hit the fucking road consistently.
Yeah.
Ohio State 49, Michigan State 20. Ohio State finally went on the road once again. Michigan State, should they be in the conversation for one of the worst?
No,
Power
I thought
Fives?
they performed decently in the early parts of that game, kept it kind of interesting. Obviously,
if Michigan State played Stanford tomorrow, who would you take?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's a very good question. I think Stanford.
If Texas Tech played Michigan State tomorrow, who would you take?
Texas Tech would whip Michigan State's ass.
If West Virginia played Michigan State,
I would take West Virginia.
If Oklahoma played Michigan State,
that's a better question. Flip a coin.
Ohio State, that's the best. That's their first road trip. They won by 29, so obviously impressive. They did actually cover that spread.
Ohio State?
Yeah. It's a 27-point spread. They won by 29.
What offense, man. When it feels like they just score when they want to. Sometimes it takes them a little while, but they just get the wide open receivers, and I don't know. When you have that many weapons, I guess that kind of thing happens.
Marvin Harrison, 7 for 131, 3 touchdowns.
And Jiggler's not even back yet, is he? No. This is like without their obvious best player.
Yeah. Western Kentucky 28, UTSA 31 in the Alamo Dome, the house that Terry Cummings built.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Roadrunners, my overs. Can we celebrate yet?
It's looking pretty good, but don't count those chickens before they hatch because
That's
UAB,
true. And Rice, all of a sudden, that game at Rice, I'm
all
like,
it
oh
takes
shit.
is one slip up and you're.
They got the
sweating.
airport next week, so I think we're okay.
I think you're good too,
Yeah.
but don't celebrate too early.
Patty C, Air Force 27, Utah State 34. The wacky Mountain West.
What are we doing here? What are we doing, folks?
Who is the best team in the Mountain West, Patty C?
Who the F knows? Let me take a look at those standings.
Yeah, Keith Landry in the chat says Western Kentucky not getting a field goal to tie it and going for it on 4th and 6 pissed me off so bad. Yeah, that was a crazy game. That was a crazy
What
game.
happened at the end of that one again?
Well, and also UTSA went for a 4th and 2 that I think originally he was kind of stopped, but the receiver reached out and got the first down. Yeah. That game was entertaining.
That was
an entertaining game. Even in that filthy dome.
You know what?
Yeah.
I was just about to say UTSA makes the dome work. There's so because David Robinson, the man who truly built the Alamo Dome, his presence is still in that dome. That's why there's a fun atmosphere.
No. Look,
there's magic.
I've always said this. Look, I'm anti-dome football.
The real Commanders played there, right?
That's
original
true. The real Commanders.
Yeah.
In the AAF. But there should always be 1 or 2 dome teams.
And they should usually be in Texas.
Yeah, but Syracuse, as much as actually Syracuse should cut the roof off. But they are a pussy team, so it is fun to your dome team has to be a pussy team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they can be good, but they have to be a pussy team.
Yeah. Steve Spurrier probably should have been playing in the dome for his whole career.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or
coaching in a dome, I should say.
Patty C, Air Force. So Utah State, I don't know what to make of the Mountain West. Is San Jose State the best team in the Mountain West, Patty C?
Maybe. Let me see. I mean, Boise, coming along.
What is that Boise score right now? They're up 40-20. Boise's back, baby.
They may be back.
All you had to do was fire the OC that was trying to do the air raid.
There you go. Get back to the basics. I do think, though, San Jose State has proven to be the most physically dominant team at this point in the season. What are they, 4-1? I still think Air Force can't be ignored.
Is Wyoming the best team in the Mountain? What is your power rankings in the Mountain West?
I have no idea. I mean, you got Colorado State at 1-4, but they're undefeated in the Mountain West.
Ridiculous. That game was ridiculous last night.
That was a shit fest. I did like Mike Norvell and Nevada's coach.
Jay Norvell.
Jay Norvell and
Ken Wilson.
Ken Wilson. Yapping at each other in the pregame.
Talking shit.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Football's back, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
Patty C. Texas State 36, Appalachian State 24. Ouch. The Sun Belt is, who the fuck knows what the Sun Belt I have no idea what the Sun Belt championship game is going to be.
Is that Spavital that's still at
yeah, that's a huge win for him.
That is
a huge win for him, retaining his job potentially.
Texas State has potential to be a cool program. They have good uniforms.
Yeah, they're in San Marcos.
That sun against the uniforms looked really cool today. But and then a huge win. And I don't know. But that does take away a little of the shine from JMU beating App State.
Yeah.
Not liking that.
UConn 33, Florida International 12. Guess who cashed the over?
Is UConn really the team that's going to bring Northeast football back?
Yes.
3-4. They are figuring it out without the starting quarterback.
Yes.
Two in a row.
Dude, they got Ball State next week in Muncie.
That's an L. Mark that down.
No, that's
that. Okay.
That's a game. We got a game, dude. What
That
are you
will be a
talking
game.
about? All right. Well, let's read some more ads. I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by the Elias Game Plan app. Do you ever wish that before every NFL game you could get up to date and accurate information before placing bets and locking in your fantasy lineup? Well, now you can with the Elias Game Plan app, the ultimate sports betting and fantasy companion for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And whether you're part of a fantasy tournament placing bets or just a huge sports fan, Elias Game Plan has everything you need. Yes, Elias Game Plan is from the most trusted name in sports, the Elias Sports Bureau, the official statisticians of U.S. Pro Sports League since 1913. So take this NFL season to the next level and download the Elias Game Plan app today. Choose from 3 game plans when you do subscribe, weekly, monthly, or annual. But I highly recommend the monthly because I can get you 25% off when you choose the monthly subscription. So just use our promo code SGPN25. Find the Elias Game Plan Sports Betting app in the App Store or Google Play Store today and use that promo code SGPN25. We're also brought to you by No House Advantage. No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Play and pick 'em contests versus other people for a shot at winning $250K in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, and earn points for corrected picks, and climb up that leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. Sign up now with the promo code SGPN at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app to get a first deposit match of $25. Patty C. Jim Moore is doing a fucking great job.
He is. Kind of want to pull up what they've done lately. This is still.
They've won, what, 2 in a row?
Yeah, 2 in a row.
They haven't won 2 in a row since fucking.
Fresno was a pretty decent program. Their losses as well, pretty respectable. NC State, at Michigan.
Yeah. And then at Utah State.
Well, hosting Syracuse, and then at Utah State, which is not looking quite as bad after
Michigan's undefeated. Syracuse is undefeated. Yeah.
NC State was number 12 coming into this week.
Ridiculous fucking rankings.
But what are they, 5-1 NC State?
I think so.
So
that's just a crock of shit.
Between that, though, there's one loss on 3 of their losses.
Yeah.
Loss. So, look, UConn may be a better team than we realize, and the second end of have the schedule much more forgiving. They're going bowling.
All right. If they get Muncie out in the middle of Muncie, Indiana, all right, they can grab a dub there and watch out.
Even if they get Boston College at the Wrench, right? They get UMass at the Wrench. They get Liberty at the Wrench, and then they have to go to Mikey Stadium for the Army game, which doesn't look so daunting. Dude, they can win all 4 of those.
UConn. The 2020 national champs.
That's right.
Patty C. UTEP lost at La Tech by 10. We were on the wrong side of that. I don't fucking know, man.
UConn? Oh, wait.
No, UTEP.
UTEP, sorry. Yeah, we shit the bed on that one. Let's just move on.
Yeah, Wyoming beats New Mexico. They came back and won. New Mexico was up 14-0, I think.
Wyoming, New Mexico.
So my theory on that stopping Craig Bowl.
11 11 was the spread. We had that covered for how many minutes?
They didn't cover that, man.
I know.
It was actually I think it was less than 11, but
I felt like we had it covered for like 57 minutes there.
Southern Miss loses to Troy. I took Southern Miss plus the 7. I lost. Washington State loses to USC. Look, USC would have won that game regardless, but I am so sick of these fucking calls. All right. This targeting by the offensive lineman of Washington State and a just complete nonsense call.
The backfield.
Yes. Just absolutely ridiculous. And then right before the half, they call pass interference, which extends the drive. USC was going to have to kick a field goal. They call pass interference on a cornerback from Washington State who did absolutely nothing but get interfered by the offensive player.
He's running shoulder to shoulder with the USC player.
And the USC player just goes like this, and they call it on him, and that's a 4-point difference.
The USC player kind of stumbles as he's interfering.
USC still would have won that game. They were the better team, but that was a crock of shit, man. That was a complete crock of shit,
situational game that changes the dynamic when you become.
Washington State would have been winning at halftime. Yeah. The momentum is completely different.
Your strategy is completely different when you don't have to score. Being desperate for points when you rely on, in this game, a low scoring game. It makes it tough.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. It is. And also, the what happened? The guy reversed field in the backfield, and the offensive lineman was coming the other way.
Yeah, I mean that was so fucking ridiculous. I want to vomit watching that fucking play.
He doesn't even hit him with his head. It's like, dude, football cannot be, if you get hit hard, it's a penalty. When the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, it's ridiculous what's happening with the sport, man. BYU 20, Notre Dame 28 in Vegas. I was on the wrong side of this one too. BYU bothers me. They bother me. They make Notre Dame's offense.
Man. It's just like, it sucks. Can Mexico, someone who's Saudi Arabia, start a fucking football league and make the most violent shit ever.
but make sure you have good video quality. Better than Patty C's video quality from last week. Patty C, by the way, he's back. He is back from Afghanistan. He was scouting the Taliban's defensive end. How was the Taliban's defensive end?
The Taliban defensive end, running a solid 4.8, solid.
Oh, man. Okay. Is Notre Dame back, Patty C, or is that just BYU not being that good?
Notre Dame is solid. BYU's not that good. I think that's what you're going to see. The rest of the schedule, though, for Notre Dame is, I guess, kind of interesting. I want you to tell me what you think.
So they're what, 4-2 now, or are they 3-2?
They are 3-2. Upcoming, they host Stanford.
Win.
Host UNLV.
Win.
A road trip to Syracuse.
They could win that.
They could win that. Hosting Clemson. They could win that. Hosting Navy neutral site game. Actually,
they're not going to win all those
in Baltimore.
Like, to me, Syracuse and Clemson are like 50-50 games for that. No. I mean, Clemson.
They should be dogs in both of those, but slight dogs. But yeah, I bet they're 3-2.
They'll lose to USC probably.
You think they lose to USC?
Because I don't think they have enough offense to stay in that game.
No, probably not. Drew Pine at times looks pretty bad, but I do think that BYU is one of the toughest teams remaining on their schedule.
I agree.
They could. I mean,
their schedule is ridiculous. Can we talk about that for a second? I know people want to say, "Oh, they're independent. It's such a tough schedule."
You cannot shit on this schedule. What are you?
They play only at 3. They only play at 4 fucking college campuses.
That's true.
That's once again what I'm talking about, man.
Sure, that helps, but playing a neutral site game in Baltimore.
No, but it's the same as Alabama when they do it every year with fucking with Miami or something in the opener.
No, but if you're the team traveling to the other team's state,
they will have more. The Navy one does not count. First off, that's a group of 5, and there will be more Notre Dame fans there than there will be Navy fans.
Okay, but then BYU's the other one. Yes, it's not really a neutral site game when your name is in both end zones. I don't know how they fucking arrange that.
Well, if so, it's just a game that there's no. If they had to go to Provo, I'd be way more impressed if they won in Provo.
Then when you have half the fans there, that's true.
These next 2 games were awesome. Kansas State 10, Iowa State 9. Patty C. I had Iowa State plus 1.5. Winner, chicken dinner.
Getting it done.
Dude, these games are fantastic because, and by the way, Matt Campbell, probably he's such a good coach. I feel bad for him because he has that 7-point loss to Baylor 3 weeks ago where he got completely hosed on multiple calls. Yeah. Right. He has a 3-point loss to Kansas where the kicker hit the crossbar twice. Right.
Right.
Then he has a 1-point loss to Kansas State. The guy can't get a break right now, man.
Yeah. It's tough. Are they still alive, would you say, for the Big 12? No,
but they'll beat some teams that they shouldn't.
Well, it's almost a great thing for Iowa State that he's not, especially in a year that Nebraska is looking to hire.
Yeah, that's true. If you're an Iowa State fan, you're like, all right.
Yeah.
All right,
deal with it.
Let's wait it out.
Next year we're winning 10 again. Fuck you.
But besides that, so Pacey, I covered by a 0.5 point there, and then I had Iowa plus 4 at Illinois. Illinois wins 9-6 in one of the. These games are awesome. These games are fucking awesome.
To the common fan, I remember 9-6 was the score of Alabama LSU game of the century that everyone was so disappointed in.
Oh, dude, I saw so many people complaining about the Thursday night Broncos Colts game.
Yeah,
I found it entertaining.
Yeah, dude.
You went to overtime
football game. Whatever. How these fucking people can watch soccer and claim to be entertained and then turn around and watch a 9-6 football game and claim it's boring. You're fucking idiots. It's the same people that watch boxing and hype up a knockout and then watch a hard hitting football. And get pissed off.
But it's fun to watch. I remember a Patriots Titans game where it was like fucking 56-3, or a Patriots Redskins game. Yeah. The year those games are fine. Those games are fine. But God forbid you get a game without a touchdown that's going into overtime. Fucking terrible. Patty C, is Illinois going to win the Big Ten West?
I think they might. They haven't played Minnesota yet.
No. Or Purdue.
That's a toss-up. Purdue could do it, but I would say right now, Illinois is the favorite.
I don't know.
Dude, they just beat Iowa. That's fucking impressive.
But Minnesota and Purdue look pretty good too.
That's true. How they're going to respond to a high-powered offense isn't.
No, I think it's a game. I'm not saying they're not, but I just can't say definitively that they're the best team in the
Well,
West.
I think they have a very strong defense, and they have a
lawn chair quarterback.
They have a total
who came
chair.
an inch away.
Yeah,
an inch
Literally
away,
an inch away
from blowing the game because they fumbled and Iowa took it back for a touchdown.
We were so excited that game was going to end on a only touchdown of the game being a defensive touchdown.
Yeah.
That close.
Patty C. Is Kansas State the best team in the Big 12?
No, Texas is. I hate to say it, but
Texas lost to Texas Tech though.
It's true. But Kansas State has
TCU, and Oklahoma State are all undefeated. Texas is further down than all of them. And Texas, they might have the same record as Texas Tech. Wait, no, Texas Tech lost today. So
the thing that I'm not really giving Kansas State credit for is that Adrian Martinez is a legit, force to be reckoned with. That's a hard dude to stop. So I don't know if Texas would have the answer for that.
Keith's cracking me up in the chat. What a world we live in where Tommy DeVito could lead a team to a championship.
Right. Wait, who is quarterbacking for them today? It
was Arthur
Satowski.
The mixture.
Tommy DeVito's backup.
Oh man. Clemson 31, Boston College 3. I covered on that. South Carolina. Do we need to talk about that? I don't think we have to talk about that one.
Which one?
Clemson 30. Yeah. South Carolina 24, Kentucky 14.
Give the man some credit. That's all I ask. Just acknowledge that he won the game. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
There it is.
All right.
We're gonna do this every week, and we're gonna.
Hey, if we fire Mike Houston and hire Shane Beamer, because it's obviously East Carolina's a better job than South Carolina. Army 10, Wake Forest 45. Is Wake Forest the best team in the nation?
They're very good.
They could be in the playoffs.
And Army kind of sucks this year, unfortunately.
That's the hope for the ACC. But the ACC blew it. They blew it. Remember what's that Robert De Niro movie? But
I feel like that's Billy Madison.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Robert De Niro, Adam Sandler.
Yeah, same thing.
Dude, Wake Forest, if they were to play Clemson again in the ACC championship, it would be fantastic for everybody. But no, the ACC says, no, we're going to stick to these divisions one more year. Yeah. So we're going to end up seeing Georgia Tech and Clemson in the ACC championship. It's going to be disgusting.
A game that we already saw in the first game of the season in an absolute slaughter fest.
We'll get a chance to run it back. Too. Yeah. Texas A&M 20, Alabama 24. Patty C, tell me how much you hate the play call from Jimbo Fisher at the 2-yard line.
Dude, he got a free timeout from Alabama out of it. You're going to have to rush the play in 25 seconds. No, you get a full minute and a half, however long, to draw up a play, and your play is throw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
Fucking annoying.
Run the fucking ball.
I don't
know if
I run the ball from the 2-yard line.
2 yards away from a win.
I just don't throw it into the far corner of the end zone. You're 2 yards away. Dial up something in the middle of the end zone. A little drag. Do some deception. Put a route combination together that gets someone fucking open and hit them. Don't make the hardest fucking throw your play.
All right, dude. Well. All right, folks. I want to tell you that we're brought to you by Trade Coffee. Look. Let me tell you about Trade Coffee. It is a coffee subscription service unlike anything else you've tried before because they partner with the top independent roasters to freshly roast and send the best coffee in the country directly to your home on your preferred schedule. They have a team of experts that do all the work, taste testing hundreds of coffees from across the United States every month. They curate over 450 exceptional coffees to make the cut, and they sit them in their warehouse and deal them out to people. It's absolutely fantastic. Honestly, it's really good. So if you want to support small businesses and brew the best cup of coffee you've ever made at your house, it's time to try Trade Coffee. And right now, Trade is offering our listeners a total of $30 off your first order plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/SGP. That's drinktrade.com/SGP for $30 off your subscription to the best coffee in the country. We're also brought to you by OddsTrader. OddsTrader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promo codes from sportsbook to sportsbook to assure yourself the best deal possible. So check out oddstrader.com/bluewire. OddsTrader, the number one site for all your game day bets. Patty C, we Florida State 17, NC State 19. Florida State was in a position to win this game, to kick it. My guy Jordan Travis threw a really bad pass, got picked off. NC State survives. NC State, between ECU and Florida State. Those are the luckiest fucking wins. This team sucks.
Yeah.
The luckiest fucking wins. But hey,
if the team could hit a field goal or was smart enough just to kick the field goal, then they'd be 3-3.
Extra point too.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that. Coastal beats ULM by 7. ULM plus 15 covers. Never fade a Bowden in a big game.
Rule as old as time, or at least a couple weeks old.
Oregon squashed Arizona. Boise squashed Fresno. Current update on the scores: Patty C. San Diego State 13, Hawaii 7, Stanford 17, Oregon State 10. The sweat. I'm not hitting these bets. I'm not hitting any of these bets.
Stanford up on Oregon State.
17-10 Stanford.
Yikes.
San Diego State's only up 13-7 on Hawaii.
Hawaii's money line in this shit.
Oh man, what a mess. All right. Well, look, Patty C, biggest takeaways from this week. Texas is really good.
Texas is good. Alabama is vulnerable. That's my huge takeaway here.
Can Kansas still go 11-1?
Sure. I think it's going to be hard, but it's possible. Jalon Daniels has to get back real quick. I think more importantly, JMU is undefeated and probably going to win the national championship. Someone said in the chat that they are appealing their bowl ineligibility.
NCAA, what the fuck are you doing? Let the guys play. What the hell's going on?
Come on. Oh, Coastal State.
Why would we ruin I thought we're supposed to be for the kids, right? Isn't that
right.
the NCAA?
Do it for the kids.
What's the problem here?
You got JMU leaving the CAA. The CAA is like, fuck you. You can't play in our postseason. So they go to the FBS and they're like, oh, you can't play in our postseason. They just screwed either way. It's the life of a Duke.
How do you see him seeing Hawaii has the ball on the San Diego State 37-yard line right now? Jeez, we should go watch this. All right, folks, this is our recap show. Subscribe to the College Football Experience, and remember also to check out the College Basketball Experience, as we're less than a month away from the season tipping off there. So check out both. We come together on YouTube as one, youtube.com/the College Experience, and buckle up. Next week is fantastic too. We are already just looking at games. I want to key in on games we normally talk about, but I'm going to save it for the Wednesday show, folks. Enjoy. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. Tomorrow's NFL show going on with Real Money Kramer and Terrell Furman Jr. The pregame show. Check out that. And let's roll. All right. Check out the NFL Gambling Podcast. MLB season heating up. MLB Gambling Podcast. Noah Beanick does that. Check out the College Baseball Experience. We got it all.
Let's give the guy a lot of credit.
Doing great work.
Holds it down.
Doing great work. He should be involved with the space program.
Yes,
all right.
I agree.
Anyway, folks, have a wonderful day, and we cannot wait till next week. This is the College Football Experience Week 6 recap show. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Thank you. Well, this is a great way to get started, and I haven't even clocked all my games yet. It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
Sometimes people that are standing on third base think they hit a triple. You know, he didn't.
Check that door for heat, Tim.
Team speed, for Christ's sake.
What is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you,